So your world is not solid. What your world is vibrating, energetic particles. This is how Jesus created healing because he knew this. So he knew that the world was not solid, and therefore, if someone presents with some type of illness or sickness in their body, he knew that this was not a permanent state, but that this was something that could be changed instantly through that person's faith, because he knew that the sickness that was in their body had only manifested because they had some type of belief or repetitive thought pattern that continually happened over and over. And so this caused the energetic breakdown of their body. So what we're talking about today is the fabric of reality, what it actually is. So if you just look around the room that you're in right now, just look at the room that you're in right now. You have created this. You have created this. Every item that you are looking at, if this is your own house, has been brought into your world by you. Or perhaps if you, live with somebody else, those things are a creation of that person's. It just depends on your situation. But either way, what you perceive here in your reality is based on the beliefs that you hold. So I'm going to break this down for you. Okay, so let's just imagine here for a second that you believe that you are not worthy or deserving of love. Now, there could be a million different reasons why this could be. There's probably more than a million different reasons why this could be. Maybe your parents didn't treat you right. Maybe you were with someone who, betrayed you or did something to you, and so it made you, then start to believe, I guess, well, I'm not worthy. This wouldn't have happened if I wasn't worthy of this, whatever it happens to be. So let's say that you have that as a belief. You truly believe you're not worthy of love. Okay, well, what is going to happen is through that belief, it is going to color your world, right? Because that belief is going to subtly underlie the transactions that you have with other people. It's going to underlie the actions that you're taking. Now, here's the thing about this. So with a lot of my clients, they don't even know. They don't even know if I was to consciously ask somebody, do you believe that you're worthy of love? Some people definitely would know, and they'd think, ooh, no, or yes, or whatever they would say. But often people don't actually realize the extent, because I will ask something in a conscious state, and then we will, get into the subconscious state, and then I will ask the same question again, and typically there will be a slightly different answer. So I always work with numbers. So let's say on a scale of 1 to 10, this person told me, I believe that I'm worthy of love at an 8. So that would be, pretty decent. You're not at a 10, which is, where it needs to be, but an 8. So they believe this about themselves. I take them into a subconscious state. I ask them the same thing again, because we're just working with these dials and numbers when we're in a session. And I ask them again, what are you worthy at? And they might say 6 or 4. So often we are very unaware of the underlying beliefs, or at least the power that they hold over us, the extremity of them, the extremeness of these beliefs that we hold. So there's your example. You believe that you're not worthy of love. Okay, so what is going to happen is that because this is coloring the fabric of your world, you are going to get proofs of this over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And it has nothing to do with whether that belief is true or not. It only has to do with the fact that you believe in it. Only has to do with the fact that you believe in it. So maybe people will come into your life that will then, treat you badly. Maybe, people won't be good to you. You'll be in a loving, are in a relationship and that relationship won't be fulfilling because you're thinking, this person doesn't actually love me. And it will color and cloud your entire world. Okay, example 2. So let's say that you believe that people are rude and mean to you. And this is 100% a belief because people are not rude to me. I haven't experienced it. One person told me one time that someone else was being rude to me, but I didn't perceive it that way. I didn't pick it up that way. It literally didn't affect me. I couldn't even hear what this person was saying because that's not in my world. So, maybe that was in that person's world. Maybe that was in somebody else's. But I'm telling you, if you don't hold that belief, no matter what somebody else is doing, you will not perceive it that way. It will not affect you that way because it will not be that way. Your reality is only what you believe it to be. Okay, but let's say that you believe that people are rude and mean to you. Well, what's going to happen? You're going to go to the store, somebody's going to say something to you, whether it was intended to be rude or mean, you are going to take it that way. It is going to be interpreted through your senses in your visible reality. Through these senses, it's going to be interpreted in a certain way. Whereas somebody standing next to you could have heard the exact same conversation and they may interpret it the same way. They may interpret it a completely different way. But you attract these things to you. So if somebody comes to you, they come up to you in the store or something like that happens and they're rude, what a weird thing. Anyways, let's say that happens. It is because of your beliefs, or it is because you have been rude and done something like this to somebody else at some point, and it is now being returned to you. And then you go, oh, well, this person was so rude to me. I don't understand what I did, blah, 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 blah. Well, if you were to examine your consciousness, either you believe subconsciously that people are mean and rude to you, so therefore they are, or you were mean and rude to somebody at some point. You probably don't even remember, and so now it's come back to return to you. So our life that we are creating, we are truly creating. Okay, another example. So let's say that Julie has super high confidence. She believes that good things happen to her all the time. So she wakes up in the morning and she's excited for the day because she just knows good things always happen to me. And so she goes about her day and good things happen to her all day long. Now you might say, well, yeah, Julie can think that because good things are actually happening to her. But I am telling you, the only reason good things happen to Julie is because she believes in it. It's only because she believes in it. So if you change those beliefs, it changes your world. Now, this takes a bit of time. It takes a bit of time, depending on your level of enlightenment, it takes a bit of time to catch up with you. So if you decide you're going to change your attitude right today, and that you're going to stop giving in to fear about some kind of something, some fearful belief of, I'm not worthy, or I'm, not good enough, or whatever happens to be, if you were to stop giving into that fear, you're going to notice a difference. You're going to notice a difference, but your actual visible reality will begin to change. So I talk to my children about this all the time. I got 4 kids, and my girls are quite spiritual. We talk about this type of thing a lot. And so I was just talking to my youngest the other day, and she was at work, and she said, I really, really noticed what you were talking about the other day, and how when you think good, it comes back to you, and how quickly it really happens. And it's not just thinking good. This is not just like, oh, have a positive attitude. That is not it at all. It is more, have an attitude of love. Have an attitude of love. Okay, so think about this for a second. When you get injured, let's say you get a cut on your arm. Okay, so you get a cut on your arm, it's bleeding, it's pretty bad, but it's not so bad that you need to go and get it stitched. Okay, so what do you do about it? Nothing. Maybe you put some Band-Aids on it or whatever, you cover it up for a bit, but then you don't really think about it. You just let it heal. We all fall down. We all get things like this to happen once in a while. Okay, that was a belief of mine. I shouldn't have even said that. But anyways, if something like that happens, what then happens after that? Your body repairs itself with absolutely no help from you. Absolutely none. You don't got to think about it. You could lay in bed. You could be in a coma for 2 weeks, wake up, and your body will be completely healed. It won't even look like you ever had a cut on your arm. Why did this happen? Because you did not interfere with the divine flow that is constantly, every single second, flowing to and through you. And when you have mind control, when you can control your mind and you cannot allow your mind to cloud the divine nature, this flow, when you don't cloud it and you don't use your mind to get in the way, then the work goes off perfectly. Your body healing after getting a cut and looking exactly as it did prior to that is an example of the love that exists within your body, first of all, and essentially is within every fabric of this visible reality. So look at the space that's all around you. We call it air. But look at it, all of it that is all around you. So this is the visible space that you have in front of you. Now, if we go deeper, there is space within everything. So within every cell, there is a bit of space. What is it? It's just space. It's just this empty space. But what it actually is, okay, I don't want to get too deep here. I don't want to lose you. What it is it is the universal force of perfect love. But it's sitting there in equilibrium. It's not doing anything. It's not active. It's just there. And it is waiting to be activated with and through consciousness. Now, consciousness is all that exists, and it exists within everything. It exists within absolutely everything. Think about your cells. Your cells have consciousness. They are aware of what type of nutrition that they need to take in. How do they know this? Because they have awareness, they have consciousness. They know exactly what toxins to excrete. How do they know this? They know this because they have consciousness. Now, all of this goes on without any help from you. You don't have to think about it. You can be sleeping while this is going on, but there is conscious awareness that is within every single tiny baby molecule, cell, energetic particle within your body, and they all serve purpose. Now, there was this was years ago. There was a person who had surgery, some type of surgery on their leg, and their leg was not healing. Now, they go on and on and on and on, and it's not healing. They try everything. Eventually, they end up at a hypnotist. I've heard, I don't even know how many times, that I'm a last resort. I'm like, excellent, perfect, love it. You came to the right place. So they go to a hypnotist, and this hypnotist regresses them back, so takes them back, and they go back to the surgery table where the doctor or whoever was working there says, ooh, I don't know how this is going to heal. And because that person was in a subconscious state, right? They were under medication. They weren't really there. They don't really remember. They just took this in, and it became a belief, and their leg didn't heal until they became aware of this in this session, and then their leg healed after that. But it was a belief. It had nothing to do with something being wrong with their physical body. It had nothing to do with anything other than they were told something and they accepted it and believed it. So this is why, fortune tellers and people like that, if you were to, even tarot readers, if you were to go to somebody or listen to someone, a psychic or somebody that is not high vibe or that is not about the spiritual growth and enlightenment, if depending on where they're at on their journey, they may say something to you, and just because you don't accept it or believe it at the time, it doesn't matter. You're taking that information in, and if there was, let's say, an ounce of fear that you had that thing that they said might be true, well, what's going to start to happen is that fear is going to start to manifest. So I don't believe any of these, fortune tellers, this kind of type of people, that they're necessarily intentionally deceiving. This truly might be the information that they believe that they're receiving, and so they're telling you. But what happens is when we accept something as belief, it really does manifest in our world. So think about some of the beliefs that you have that maybe aren't helping you. So you can actually just look at your life and be able to determine where there must be some kind of belief. So do you struggle with finances? Okay, if you do, then there is beliefs that are all around it. And now here's the thing, and I understand and I know that when it's like, well, yes, but this is what's always happened to me, this thing, I struggle because I work this job, so how could I, get more? We always make excuses for the beliefs that we have. But I want to tell you a story. And I was talking to my friend Doug yesterday, and he said something along the same lines of this too, that money just comes. It doesn't even need to be attached to anything else, that it really, it really is belief. So if you have a belief like that of your, maybe there's a lot of things around money that could hold you back, believing that, there's not enough to go around. I don't want to be greedy. I'm not deserving of it. I don't have the skills. I don't, there's like so many things that could be around it. But once you determine what those are, then you can do something about it. Okay. So maybe I've told you this story before. But I used to work at this restaurant and, Delicioso. I worked at Red Lobster. That was a sweet gig. Anyways, this is like 20 years ago, more than 20 years ago. So this guy used to come in, an older man, and he would always sit in my section. Super nice, loved this guy, so great. Anyways, that morning I woke up and I needed rent. I needed rent money. I'm like 20 some years old, not even. And so I pray and I'm like, God, I need $78 or whatever it was. I don't remember. However much it was. So I go through my shift, and it was a really slow day. Like normally that wouldn't be an issue to make that kind of money. Like you'd just make it. But it was going really slow, and I'm like, what the heck? And I'm like getting discouraged, and I'm thinking, I've never prayed and had it not happen for me before when it was something like that. Like I prayed and I knew that it would happen because it always happens. So I'm getting to the point though that I'm like, what is going on? Why is it so slow? I barely have any tables. And that man comes up to me and he goes, oh, well, your section was full. We could only have 3 tables. Your section was full, so I couldn't sit with you. But I felt like I needed to bring you this. And he handed me a handful of money. I didn't even count it. I didn't even count it. I don't remember how much it was. I was just like, what? Like, he's giving me this tip, like significant. I'm going to say, I don't know. $40. Maybe it was $70 and I needed 100 and something. I don't remember, but it was a handful of money, like cash. So I, put it in my thing, my money pouch, and I go to the end of my shift and I go to cash out, and I had exactly to the dollar how much I needed. Now, here is the thing I want to point out about that. I didn't work for that money. I didn't work for it. He came up and he handed it to me, and I had done nothing for him. I didn't work for it. So we don't need to work for these things to have them come in. So if you have a job that you're like, yeah, but I got a 9 to 5, this is how much I make every 2 weeks. There's no room for more than that. Well, that's a belief that you have, and you need to change it, because the divine hears our wants and hears our needs and wants to give them to you. And it is only your mind that stops the flow of them coming into you. So I feel the need to talk about this resistance to what is. So let's say that you wake up in the morning, and when you wake up in the morning, this is your attitude. You're like, oh, I don't want to have to do this thing today. Feel the vibe in that. What does that feel like? It doesn't feel good, right? Does that feel like a divine vibe? No, it doesn't, because it's not. When we're putting resistance out of, I don't want, you're going to get more of what you don't want. So this is the trick when you're starting to do this. Now, I am speaking from a place of, I have experienced the love that is within everything, so I don't have the doubt. I don't have it. If I'm working with a client and it's some type of physical issue or it's some type of something, I know, because I've experienced it and I've felt it with every fiber of my being, that the divine wants every good and wonderful thing to flow to you. It wants every good, every wonderful thing for you. I know this. And I also know that we're not solid. Your body is your body, but your body is really the energy underlying your body. It's the body underneath what you're seeing that is really maintaining and perfecting or not perfecting your body. And it's based on your beliefs, what you do. Let's say that you have a fear of, getting this disease or that disease. Well, what is going to happen is you are going to manifest this disease or that disease because of your belief. So I'm not saying if you believe, I'm going to get this, even if you have fear, even if you are putting out fear is a powerful, low vibe energy. What does the Bible say? 365 times. This is one of the few things I agree with in there. Not one of the few. There's some. 365 times it tells you do not fear. I'm guessing that's an important message. You know what I'm saying? 365 times somebody tells you not to fear. Don't fear. Why? Don't fear, because the divine loves you, so you don't need to. You don't need to. So, the people who manifest like crazy, like there was some lady, she did all these totally amazing things. And I'm like, oh man, she had her mind on straight. She knew, she had confidence, she whatever. She knew the secret. She figured it out. And also that you get what you put out. So if you are putting out something negative, so let's say you're expecting somebody to be rude to you, and then this person is so rude to you, and you're like, oh, they're so rude to me, blah, blah, blah. And you don't examine yourself and think about how you were really rude to somebody else. And, you know what? How did that feel when that person was rude to you? Sucked, didn't it? So if you made somebody else feel like that at some point, Now it's coming back to you. It's being returned to you. Why? This is not some kind of punishment. You did it yourself. Through electromagnetism, whatever thoughts, your electrical thoughts, they go out, they're returned back to you. Whatever it is that you are putting out, it is returned back to you. And you'll notice that when you become aware of this, all you need to do is become aware of it. And you'll catch yourself. You'll catch little things throughout the day. You'll catch yourself thinking about things, and hopefully you correct it. So if you find yourself thinking, let's just go today with thinking something negative about somebody else, or expecting some negative behavior from somebody else. When you expect it, you are going to receive it. Now you might say, well, I've known this person for 25 years or however long, and every time I meet them they act this way. Okay, and examine your consciousness, and are you expecting that from them every time? And it's hard. I completely understand that it's hard to be in the environment with someone who's very negative. I had to leave my situation. There's a million reasons why I had to leave my situation, my marriage. But it is very difficult to be around energies that are not in alignment with you. It's so testing. Like even Jesus, when he would go and he would heal people, he would do all these things, but what did he do? He would retreat out to the hills because he needed time by himself to recharge. Because all of those people that he was working with were not at the same vibrational level as him. They were not. So he was giving a lot of energy, a lot of that out. And so he needed to have time to himself to be able to recharge. So if you do have somebody in your environment who is very negative, you might want to just remove yourself, unless you are, I wouldn't even say strong enough. The divine will let us know when we need to leave a situation. But if you are in a situation and you know somebody, and let's say you see them a couple times a week, and every time you see them, this negative type something comes up. Okay, guaranteed you're expecting it. You're expecting it because it's happened over and over, so of course you're going to expect it. But I want you to just test this out, because I've done this with clients doing telepathic work with these people, and expecting different and getting different results. So this is how you would do it. If you have somebody who's super negative, or that affects you, when you encounter them, and you encounter them regularly, first of all, you're going to take yourself into a meditative state. Take yourself into that meditative state, and then I want you to talk to this person. Bring that person up and tell them, like, hey, this is what's happening. This is how you're affecting me. And, explain yourself, like that, every time that I'm with you, this is what happens, and I don't want this to happen anymore. Once you've explained yourself, then I want you to imagine this beautiful, brilliant, white, divine love light shining down on this person and completely clearing away any of those negative energies. And as you were doing that, I want you to imagine that person surrounded in love and expecting with no doubt that this person will be receiving this at a higher level, and that it will begin, and you will begin to see visibly a change in this person. And now if you come across that person and they're doing whatever they're doing, again, the next couple, because I'm telling you, it's depending on your level of enlightenment, it may not happen overnight. But if you hold that belief that this person this behavior is changed, it's changed. This person's wonderful. This person's wonderful. This person's wonderful. If you believe and you expect that it's changed, you will see it change. So I did an experiment on this with a particular person, and then spent a significant amount of time with them, and it was wonderful. It was wonderful. So this works, but it's your belief. So if at the very first sign of this person's old behavior, coming through, you grab onto it and be like, okay, it didn't work, blah, blah, and, take yourself out of that high vibe state that you should be in, then yeah, you're at square one. It's not going to work. But if this person displays something and you can change it to something positive, or ignore it and change it to something positive, you're going to see that over time, and it really won't take very long, when you're looking for the positive signs, you're going to find them. So everything is based off of belief. Everything is based off of belief and what you expect. And I just have to tell you that your beliefs are not true. They're not the truth. A belief is merely belief, not necessarily the truth. It's just a belief that you're holding on to. So if you could free your mind from all of these beliefs and put yourself into the divine flow, where whatever you want, whatever you desire, is already sitting there waiting for you, and the only thing blocking it is the mind. So gaining control of your mind, you then free yourself, and then the fabric of your reality actually changes. It actually visibly changes. So one more time here, look around the room, or wherever it is that you're in. If you were to look around your room, how much love is in this room that you're looking at? How much love have you put in it? Is it clean? Have you put care into it? Is there something in that room that needs to be repaired, that needs to be cared for? When you begin to look around you and you begin to realize, let's say all the items that you have in there in your house, well, why are they there? Well, because they were bought, because at some point somebody loved them. And then we put them in our house, and then we forget about them. And they're nothing anymore. Why do we do this? If you look around and you can see all the things that you have, and you can remember that when you got them, it's because you loved them. It really begins to change the way that you see things, because then you can look around your room and you can see love in every single thing. And this can be a reminder for you that we're living in heaven, that this is heaven, and it is purely perception that separates you from that, from living in heaven or living in hell. The separation is perception, and that perception is based on the underlying beliefs that are there. So anyways, thank you guys for tuning in to today's podcast. I love you all so much. Thank you for tuning into my channel. And if there's anyone that you feel could listen to this, please like, share, subscribe to this channel, and I will see you guys in the next one.